So I came across this video on YouTube making these alarming claims about Hillary Clinton's mental health, and I didn't know what to make of it. So when I saw my dad recently, I decided to show it to him to see what he thought of it, see what his response was. My dad's, he worked for the National Health Service here in the UK from 1961 to 1992 as a state registered nurse, a registered mental nurse, a national district nurse, and a health visitor. He has a practical and theoretical knowledge of situations of patients suffering from diverse mental conditions. He carried on working in a semi-official capacity after he retired, and he continues to work unofficially, in a sense, looking after my mum, who now has Lewy body's dementia. And he's still making contributions to forums on mental health, giving help and advice to carers of people with mentally degenerative conditions. And so when we saw this video, we decided to make a response. So let's watch that.
Welcome to vidzet.com. My name is Ted Noel. I'm a medical doctor with 36 years of experience, but I am not Hillary Clinton's treating physician, so I can't claim that what I'm about to tell you is a conclusive diagnosis. What I can do is exactly what the CIA does. I look at the public record, and then I put it together to see if there's a single story that explains all of the odd things we see with Hillary and arrive at an answer as to what's going on medically with her. On August 14, Joe Biggs of InfoWars reported that Secret Service agents had approached him with information that Hillary Clinton was suffering from Parkinson's disease. They've had to take steps to accommodate her disease. They also indicated that they have known she's had Parkinson's disease for an extended period. It has become so severe that they are seriously concerned about her ability to perform the duties of president if she is elected. This is a highly unusual circumstance because Secret Service agents are cleared top secret and are prohibited from disclosing this sort of protected information. The only obvious reason for them to speak to a reporter is that they see Hillary Clinton as an imminent threat to national security because of her disease. Days after InfoWars, Julian Assange of WikiLeaks released Hillary Clinton emails where she directs State Department staff to research new drugs to treat Parkinson's disease. Let's connect the dots. On January 31, 2005, Hillary Clinton fainted during a speech. Secret Service agents kept her from injuring herself as she fell. Her public explanation was that she was ill and dehydrated. She left the stage to remove an outer jacket rather than removing it on stage. Oddly, she did not seek medical attention unless she received it off stage before returning.
What is claimed there has no basis, no principle. Person who is highly motivated, hyperventilation probably on speaking in public, plus the physical efforts of one thing or another. In addition to that, there is the basic human fear of having to go to the loo midway into a speech, for which most of these public speakers decline to take any liquid intake prior to their presentation in public. That would explain a very simple, natural fact that she may have been simply thirsty or dehydrated. No more. No more, and completely expected in that situation. Doesn't justify any diagnostic proof of anything.
June 18, 2009, Hillary Clinton broke her elbow, quote, on her way to the White House, close quote. Again, we do not have video. But this is also a bit odd since she has had 24/7 Secret Service protection for 24 years. She would have to fall at a distance from them with no warning, or they would have broken her fall as they did in 2005. Early in December 2012, Hillary Clinton fell at home, struck her head, and suffered a concussion. Like the 2005 fall, the public explanation was dehydration and fainting. But again, this is very odd. To strike your head requires a complete loss of protective reflexes. Being wobbly from dehydration won't do this. At this point, let's look at the Secret Service Parkinson's disease story. If Hiilary has Parkinson's disease, all three falls make sense. In 2005, she could have felt herself starting to have problems and went off stage to get an apomorphine shot for a quick fix. Unfortunately, it didn't work and she fell. The 2009 fall is stranger, but this is well explained by a Parkinson's freeze event. As one Parkinson's sufferer put it, "1 minute I'm upright and sailing along. The next, the asphalt is rushing up at me. The alarms sound, the adrenaline spikes, the needles jump into the red, we're going down. Shields up, shields up." But there are no shields. 180 pounds of vulnerable flesh and bone crashes to the earth. Hiilary probably froze and then fell. Either she recovered enough to avoid major injury as she was falling, or she was simply lucky. Then came 2012 and the concussion. This time the freeze was unlucky. No one was there to catch her fall, and the damage was major.
Everything said there is quite compatible with a normal human being tripping now and then, and I would look at the house to see there are any loose rugs or any other items which may have been the cause of it, rather than to be an endogenous cause claiming to be principles of Parkinsonism. I don't believe it. It's completely normal of any normal human being. I had fallen several times. I am 80 years and I had had several falls. None of them was considered to be principles of Parkinsonism, and that applies to most normal human beings.
A month after the fall, Hilary's closest aide, Huma Abedin, said in an email that Hiilary was often confused. That's not a big surprise because Hiilary had a bad concussion and was recovering from her closed head injury. The Fresnel glasses Hiilary wore for a while aren't a big deal either, since they were helping with the double vision she had after the concussion. But we should remember that our theory is that the concussion is the result of a bigger neurological problem, not the cause of a continuing problem.
The Fresnel effect or the Fresnel prismatic glasses have nothing to do with double vision. Simply they have the effect of magnifying whatever is seen through. Completely normal of anybody with presbyopia or anybody with a tight vision. The Fresnel effect, Fresnel glasses, is simply to reduce the amount of glass on the lenses, reducing weight, which is rather uncomfortable when you have to wear a heavy frame to maintain the lenses. Nothing to justify that as double vision.
In April, Hillary Clinton spent a large part of an appearance nodding her head. To most people, that was just odd. But if we think about Parkinson's disease, it's obvious. This is a head nodding tremor. She was simply present as discussion went on around her, and the tremor showed up as she was at rest. The same tremor showed up when Bernie Sanders endorsed her for president. One website counted over 400 nods then.
The sort of shaking of the head is simply a confirmation or agreeing with a speaker in the room. The lateral from side to side shaking of the head sometimes is indication of cerebral disease, not cerebral disease, which is where Parkinson's appears. I don't see on any of these presented themes any reason to suspect Parkinsonism at all.
Before we go further, it's necessary to fill in some medical background. Parkinson's disease causes tremors at rest. That is, when a hand is simply resting, the tremor can take over, but using the hand in a purposeful act will suppress the tremor. Other things that Parkinson's sufferers often do is to place their hands in unnatural and even painful positions. One very common feature is placing the middle finger above the back of the index finger rather than leaving it in line with the others. On May 2, Hillary Clinton is standing on a stage without a lectern. As she speaks, she uses two techniques to hide tremors in her hands. First, she keeps her hands busy. Second, when she's not using her free hand, she presses it to her chest, thus making any tremor almost invisible. The problem with this strategy is that it's not perfect. In the beginning, Hillary's right hand behaves normally as she waves it around to emphasize her speech. Then she presses it to her chest briefly. Then she gestures again with her right hand. But this time, her Parkinson's disease takes over, and it's likely she isn't even aware of it. Hillary's right hand assumes a frankly painful position, which includes her middle finger above her index finger. Professionals who care for Parkinson's patients recognize this as a common Parkinson's disease hand posture.
I do not see any signs or symptoms of incipient Parkinsonism on all those pieces mentioned. The hand going to the chest, there is no tremor whatsoever at all. The position of the fingers do not indicate anything.
This is one of the most famous of Hillary's odd events. One of the reporters there, Lisa Lehrer, has written that it was nothing important, but the video tells a different story. Several reporters shouted questions at the same time. Immediately, Hillary's head started to bob in an exaggerated manner, slowed down, and then repeated bobbing. After that, she ad-libbed, "You've got to try the iced chai." Several websites have called this a seizure. It's not. It's another Parkinson's disease problem, but this time it's from the treatment, not the disease. It's an example of Parkinson's disease levodopa-induced dyskinesia, or PD-LID.
Dyskinesia, the inability to control movements and so on and so forth. I don't see anything there. That dyskinesia would appear in Parkinsonism together with a mask-like face. On the other hand, I see in Hillary Clinton's face a very expressive, very mobile and very telling, expressive face. Nothing like a Parkinson's mask-like face.
PD-LID causes odd motions such as Hillary's exaggerated head movements. It doesn't cause loss of consciousness, so she was able to recover verbally.
She did not need to recover because she never lost control. She was really assaulted by several questions from several places, and physically she expressed very nicely, "Ooh, watch it, be careful, one at a time, wait." Nothing else, no Parkinsonism signs there at all.
At the Democratic National Convention during the balloon drop, we saw an astonishing scene. Hillary saw something directly ahead. A normal startle reaction would lock her in that direction, but that's not what happens. Instead, her head jerks hard left, then up. Her eyes pull right, and her head follows. Then her eyes reverse to the left, and her head follows again. All through this, her mouth is unnaturally wide open, and she has bug eyes. Every element of this is common in Parkinson's disease. When this was shown to Parkinson's disease patients and caregivers, there was no doubt. This is probably a freeze where PD-LID caused an oculogyric crisis.
If that is the case, that famous painting, The Scream, it was not depicting somebody with a scream, but according to this presentation, that picture was depicting a person suffering from Parkinson's disease, which is not true. That is to tell that what is read in this picture of Hillary with a wide open mouth is just an expression of surprise or similar, not a part of the diagnostic forms of Parkinsonism.
You okay? keep talking. You handle it. We're not going anywhere.
Okay, here we are.
Keep talking.
Okay, we'll keep talking.
On August 6, Hiilary is talking at a rally. A disturbance in the crowd catches her eye and she freezes. An aide comes to her and rubs her back while saying, "It's okay, we're still here, keep talking." When she comes out of the freeze, she says, "It's okay, we're not going anywhere, we'll keep talking." When a Parkinson's sufferer is in a freeze, brain function slows way down. That limits the options when the freeze breaks. So Hiilary echoes what she heard during the freeze as a way to get her brain back up to speed. It's another common Parkinson's event.
We only see half of the picture. We see the face of Hiilary Clinton, and we see that she is looking at something with great interest. To me, I interpreted that it is the normal reaction, self-protective of any normal human being, guessing the danger is coming from somewhere, and she tries to see it to protect herself, whatever it is, a verbal assault or something else. I don't see any signs or symptoms of Parkinsonism in a normal reaction acting instinctively as self-protection. That is a mechanism that we all have for our own survival, nothing else.
This is one of many coughing fits we see. Hiilary doesn't have bronchitis. Rather, this is evidence of a swallowing disorder, which is common in Parkinson's disease. When Parkinson's sufferers develop swallowing disorders, they get saliva or food on their vocal cords. All of us have gotten a drop down the wrong way and know how persistent the cough can be. As this progresses, fluids go down into the lungs and ultimately cause pneumonia. This aspiration pneumonia is the most common cause of death in Parkinson's disease.
It is assumed that Hiilary Clinton has lost or has an impaired swallowing reflex. It is not sufficient to cough like anybody would do to clear her throat, or simply having a tickly throat for having been speaking for a length of time anywhere else, or simple dust in the room. There are a myriad of possibilities, but none of them I could put it as Parkinsonism. Only you have this kind of problem in advanced Parkinson or Parkinsonism, and that appears when they drool and dribble constantly. None of that is appeared on Hiilary Clinton.
Let's sum this up. The video evidence is solid. Hiilary Clinton, in spite of the best efforts of her handlers and doctors, shows strong evidence of having advanced Parkinson's disease. There's far too much on the line for Hilary's medical records to stay hidden. The public has a right to know about her health before the 3 a.m. phone call goes to voicemail. Thank you.
Well, really, I don't believe that this person has presented anything as evidence about this person suffering from Parkinson's disease, not even Parkinsonism. He finalizes this presentation, this video, saying that it's evident. Evidence comes from, borrowed from the Latin videre, to see. Well, I didn't see anything. All the presentation to me, it was manipulations or normal events of any normal person, and make people see what it isn't there by manipulating their state of mind with no facts, but at the very most factoids, repeated so often that people believe to be true, when it is just a lot of bull's manure.
Well, there you go.